biggest breakout over the longest time horizon within the whole of the crypto space. That's what I called 3 months ago on this video. Go back and watch if you haven't watched this, because there's two types of people that are going to be watching this video. Firstly, the people that are looking to get into XRP. I've got a message for you guys. Secondly, the people that managed to get the break and that are already in XRP. I've got a second message for you guys, both separate messages. And there's one thing that's concerning me, and we're going to get indications within the next few days as to whether we're likely to get a surge going into January or a pullback, which could potentially create better opportunities for those that are looking to get in. What do I mean by that, guys? We've never had a monthly candle that's closed above the $2. And we're going to find out in the next few days if we're going to get that candle. So before we get into the XRP technicals, just a couple of things from me. Anybody that's in my community, anybody that watches my channel, anybody that doesn't watch my channel, just happens to come by this video. Did you have a nice holiday break? Did you spend time with your family? Are you feeling refreshed going into 2025? Because 2024 has been a roller coaster ride within the crypto market. And we've managed to survive that together looking into 2025. I've been building for the last 3 years personally, looking for 2025, because that's what coincides with the previous business cycles. That's what coincides with the previous Bitcoin cycles. That's what coincides with new money coming into the economy, quantitative easing, new stimulus, and a new president, which is crypto friendly. So that's just a cherry on the top of the cake, guys. We've got Trump going into 2025. How's the inauguration going to play out? Are we going to get a pump into January? These are all valid questions that we need to be looking at. And I'm going to start with the monthly time frame. We've got the higher time frame, and this is going to answer two questions for the people that have already got in, that managed to get in on the break, managed to get that biggest break in the whole of the crypto space over the longest time period, and those that are looking to enter now on the back of the pump. Okay, the monthly chart. Now, think about this. Each one of these candles is 1 month's worth of price action condensed into one candle. Think about that. So the higher the time frame, the higher the conviction. That means that more people are watching it, the higher the time frame. It's the law of average, guys. The lower the time frame, i.e. day traders, there's less people watching the chart at any given time. That's why support levels don't hold as much, resistance levels don't hold as much the more you go in. So the further you come out, the more conviction that you can get. This is the first thing that was concerning me, was the $2 level. This is going to give us an indication for both the bulls and the bears as to whether we're likely to get a pullback going into January 2025. Because you can see here, this $2 level wasn't rejected once, wasn't rejected twice, it was rejected 3 times. And for the first time in XRP's history, we're potentially going to get a break and a close above the $2 level on the monthly candle. So that's going to signal whether we're likely to get a January bullish candle or whether we're likely to get a January bearish candle. So what I'm going to do next is stick my Fibonacci from this swing low here to find out if we're going to get a pullback, how far we're likely to pull back to. Remember, anyone that's watched my previous Fibonacci videos, there's 3 key areas for me that need to hold: the 382, the 618, and the 786. Then we look for clues to find out if that coincides with any previous build-up of price action. So the first things first, the 382, that's sitting at around the $2 level. So if price falls back below the 382, that's signaling we've got the next support zone sat at $1.34. So if we reject this and the bears push price in the next 4 days and 9 hours back into underneath the 382, you're likely to get a pullback opportunity going into January. Could be a quick one. So that might mean limit orders, but the pullback opportunity could potentially be, like I say, $1.34. If it pulls back deeper and you get a bigger retracement to the 786, that coincides with the bigger buildup of price action. However, that's all the way down to 92 cents. Do I think it's going to come back down to 92 cents, guys? I don't think it will come down to 92 cents. Does it mean it can't happen? Anything can happen. You could get a volatile black swan event. Anything can happen. So you've got to prepare for all scenarios. That's why limit orders are good, guys. If you think you might get a cheeky limit order, stick a cheeky limit order. If it gets took, it gets took. If it doesn't, it doesn't. What's to lose? Not financial advice. So that's the next key area that I'd be looking for on XRP if we did get a pullback. But looking at the next 4 days and 9 hours is going to be my first sticking point on this monthly. How are we going to close on the monthly? Below the 382, above the 382. So what we're going to do is we're going to zoom into the weekly now. This candlestick, remember this candlestick, when we zoom into the weekly, that one candlestick now represents 4 different candles. So within that monthly, this is what's happening: 4 different candles, 4 different weeks. That's happening. So that's signaling one thing. We're creating a bit of a bull pennant. So that means that we can add a trend line on there. 3 touches confirms a trend. So if price pulls back up, rejects from there, that's confirming that we're in a bull pennant. So that's indicating if we zoom into the weekly and then we look at what pattern plays out within the monthly, it's showing what key area we need to get or what key area we need to hold. It's exactly the same level, guys. We need to hold the 382, the $1.98 to $2 level. If we get a break above here, that's signaling another thing. The bulls have got momentum in the short term. You would never have found that on the monthly chart. You would never have indicated that on the monthly chart. But when you've zoomed in on the weekly chart, it becomes more apparent who's got momentum if we break any of these trend lines. These trend lines don't exist on the monthly chart. Then we can zoom in even further. Let me just get rid of this. Then we can zoom in even further. And we'll go into the daily next. It's all the same price, guys. Anybody that thinks the different time frames are different prices, they're all the same prices, but you can get better indications as to sticking points and what needs to happen, who needs to gain momentum within the smaller time frames, and get a bit more thesis behind, or get a bit more weight behind your thesis. So the next thing that we can see here when we zoom into the daily, the pennant's becoming more apparent, and we can see we're getting further clues. What are the further clues? You've got a big buy-up candle here, signaled by the wick. You've got a big buy-up candle here. You've got a big buy-up candle here, pushing price back into this trend. So if we get a candle close, this is a daily, if we get a candle close in the next few days that closes below this trend line here, haven't had a candle close here, not here, not here. If we get a candle close within the next few days, that's signaling weakness. However, if we bounce back up and manage to get a break from this and hold, that's showing bullish. And it might actually sound crazy, but sometimes $2.50 as a confirmation buy is much better than $2 as a speculative buy, especially if you're trading and you want in, out, you want risk management, you want preservation of capital. What this confirmation buy does, it's one thing. You've put in a higher low, you've broken trend, you've held support. That's showing one thing. This is your risk, not all of this down here. Not all of this. So you're minimizing your risk because you know if this pulls back into trend, you want to be stopped out with the minimal amount of risk possible. So keep your eyes peeled, guys. The first thing that I'm looking for, and this is the important thing, is how is price going to react on XRP within the next 4 days and 9 hours? We're going to get rejected back into trend below the 382. If we are, we're likely to come back down to the 618, sat at $1.34. If we reject the $1.34, last ditch hope, 91 cents, which coincides with this previous build-up of price action. If XRP was to pull back that far, it would probably likely be a black swan event. You can't prepare for black swan events. They don't happen very often. You don't build them into your analysis. So 4 days, 9 hours. See you all later.